Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show where I bring you expert, bring you what I call greatness engineer, people who are engineering greatness wherever they are, people who are making a difference, and people who are here to help us to go to the next level of our greatness. And today, again, as usual, we have an exceptional person we're going to talk about something very important for us entrepreneur, which is, mental health. How do we care? How do we actually address the mental health, issue for some of our entrepreneur? How do we stay, competitive with all the pressure, and especially with what's happening right now with the pandemic, and also we don't forget that we are in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution, and things are going really quick. So how do we manage that as entrepreneur? Because it can be too much for some of us. And so we're going to talk about all the aspect of, mental health for entrepreneur, how we can, address it, and how we can prevent it as well. So don't go anywhere. Let us know where you're watching from. Don't hesitate to come in to join the conversation and ask a question to our expert today, and really, engage, and I hope that you're going to get something from it. And as usual, get your pen, get your paper, because there's going to be a lot of learning for you today. So my guest today I'm going to bring him, and he's going to have the opportunity to talk to you directly. But for the time being, come in, make sure you're comfortable, and we are going to start the conversation. So don't go anywhere. I know it's going to be something amazing. You're going to learn from it, and really, get something that you will be able to implement in your life, or in your professional life, social life, or personal life. So don't go anywhere. I'm bringing my guest today.
Right? On memories. But as I got older, I started to be more aware of some of the abusive sides of
So welcome. So my guest today is Anchav Jain, and he's gonna get the opportunity to introduce himself. And welcome Anchav to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It's a great pleasure to have you to actually talk about a topic that is of actuality, and sometimes a topic that is taboo in certain countries and in certain community. So welcome. And before we go to focus on entrepreneurship and the mental health impact of entrepreneurship, I just want you to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what you're doing, and really, bring us, all the key things that you think we need to know about you and your organization before we start the conversation.
Thank you, Myril, first of all, for inviting me on your Greatness Engineering Hour show. it's a wonderful initiative which you are taking it across the globe and helping a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, out there. Thank you for the same. And just to give you a little background, my name is Anshad Jain. I'm based out of Mumbai, India. I've been, I've actually done my engineering from one of the top 5 engineering institutes in India, and in an MBA in marketing and finance. Uh,
Mhm.
Now, the way I started is I have got two styles of my story. One as a corporate executive, senior executive, and one as an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. So my one side of the story goes in wherein I have got 18 plus of experience in business process engineering, business strategy, business development, and digital transformation practices, giving hundreds of globals of MNCs the benefits of revenue realization and cost optimization with with a benefit of more than 100 million plus dollars by now. The another side of story is started off almost around 7 years ago when I lost my highly paying job because of the
Mhm.
company couldn't afford my salaries at that point in time, and company was not into the right situation. And that's where I thought about it, that why not create something of my own. It The thought was easy, but it's not easy to deliver. It's not easy to make it work. And since then, I have set up 7 businesses and around 5 startups, with Bringle being one of the most valued startup today, close to around $10 million. Uh, Wherein we started in 2015
Mhm.
in setting up a physical training institute, which where we trained more than 30,000 students in just 18 months period of time, and we had 20 plus centers with a 40 plus member team.
Mhm.
Very early in 2017, we realized that it is not the physical training institutes are not going to work out, and it not going to be sustainable and profitable onto that. And that's where
Mhm.
we shifted. I did a complete research and filed a patent on developing a platform from end to end life cycle in career and education. And that's where we
Mhm.
started the virtual skills development center called bringleacademy.com, wherein we wanted to focus on bringing in on supporting 8 verticals on the entire human population. We right from
Mhm.
school children to college students to corporate professionals, women, person with disabilities, then your entrepreneurs, your mentors, and the school or college dropouts. So the
Mhm.
focusing on it from a very very specific point of view, identify the life cycle of each segment, and then
Mhm.
work with them and develop an ecosystem around it. Till last year, we had been able to touch base around 1 million lives, around
Mhm.
5,000 businesses, and we have an organic reach of 200 million plus viewership in 140 plus countries as of now. And this is what we have been able to grow to that level by shifting our concept of the physical training institute to a Bringle blended learning model. And
Mhm.
last year in 2020, starting, we took this initiative or a vision of 2020 to 2030 to
Mhm.
transform 1 billion lives, 1 million businesses, and 100 unicorns. And with that initiative, we have built up the entire digital platforms, the content requirement with respect to, because these are the 3 pillars: 2D,
Mhm.
3D, augmented reality, virtual reality content, or as well as a 50,000 plus experts community as part of our top 100 mentors club, which has spread across 50 plus countries as of now. So that's how, what I had been doing at one side of my corporate side and another side of being a serial entrepreneur.
That's really amazing, and that's what it's all about. That's what we go through as entrepreneur, especially when we started in the corporate world. It's not always easy, I'm pretty sure when you started all of this, nobody was actually giving you a chance. And but you have to stay focused. You have to continue to dream and have a vision for yourself, and then implement this vision. So before we go into, talking about the subject of today, which is the mental health, what is the part of mental health into, entrepreneurship? We'll just got, we'll just have a break and, see exactly, have a summary of what you've done in 2 years and really have an idea, visual idea of what your platform is all about. So for those listening, we're taking a break to get to know exactly what Ajit was talking about just now. Just have the visual part of it.
Investment is going to be an integral part of any success story to become a unicorn. We will need funds to develop and design their scalable models, business models.
I'd definitely love to thank the sponsors. NABARD has been of great help. Number one. Number two, the NINP, this particular place has been given to us they didn't even charge $1, which is fantastic. Thank you so much for the team out here. Right, our digital partner Bringle, who's kind of beamed this live on the net and YouTube, and our partners, of course, IBM, Cropin, Satcho, and TCS. Knowledge partners ENY as well.
Hashtag 21 Days Business Sustainability Challenge. What is it all about, Anshav?
So I started 5 startups of my own.
Wow.
With one of the most valued startup as Bringle, and it's going global in 50 plus countries at this point in time.
Okay.
So we said, why not use this network and support all the businesses all across the globe, and why don't we challenge ourselves for getting personal mastery for our businesses to take it to the next level.
Technology in agriculture is not new, but typically it has been genetic. That means it is breeding and things. The information and computer technology has not been that widely used, but today with IoT, with the reduction in price,
So we are back. We are back with Anchev, and you saw, what he has been able to accomplish with his team and his partners, and it require a lot of work. But one thing that we often forget is it require us to be really mentally fit. So the question that I wanted to ask you, Anchev, is, why do you think mental health is important for entrepreneurs? Based on, you've built something global and something big. So why do you think, mental health is important?
See, in an entrepreneur's journey, every day, every moment is different. You don't know what's going to come in. It's going to be unexpected. And there would be ups and downs. There would be times when you will like, be extremely happy, and there would be times when you'll be extremely down. And at those times, you need to balance your mindset, because it's one has to always remember nothing is permanent, be it the success, be it the failure. And when you are so much obsessed with success or even a failure, uh, you get worried about it. Then you don't, if you're very happy about it, about your success, you will see that you've achieved something, and you will not try to take one more step, to achieve the next milestone. And the second aspect is that once you are down, once you're not, you have got some roadblock, you can get into a literally a grave, I call that as a grave mindset, wherein you feel yourself that you are dead, nothing can happen, and you will lose all hopes, across. And you just need sometime a ray of hope, a mentor with you, a support system with you, who will come and say, Anshav, or this is what you have achieved, why are you so worried about it? We are there, we will take it away. And it's okay to feel that way, because this is life. That's how your heart is also, beats ups and downs. So that's how the life is. That's all part of the life. So it is very, very important that you keep a balance on that, and have a very, very good clarity that what you need to do, and have a strong, simple milestones. While you may have a larger vision, but you should have a small milestones in front of you, which could be yearly, quarterly, maybe monthly, or even daily. And at some point in time, you may have even hourly targets and milestones, because that will keep you pushing to your larger goal. And that is very, very essential for any entrepreneur.
And you're right, because we really need to, and I like the fact that you said, nothing is permanent, either success or, or failure. And we need to put things in perspective before we start to overwhelm ourselves and completely lose the balance that is needed, as to be able to push forward and to be able to accomplish what we're really trying to accomplish. So what do you think is, I think you've brought some of the point already. How can entrepreneur protect their mental health? Because that's a key one. Because if we don't have health, physical health is one thing, but mental health is very important. If we lose it, it becomes very challenging to be a good and a successful entrepreneur. So what do you think is important to do to protect our mental health when we are entrepreneurs?
So, see, it's first of all, I always say that healthy mind stays in the healthy body. And in today's time, when your mental health is not, when your mind is not right, one is the intellectual capacity or intellectual quotient of an human being. The another aspect which is very important is emotions. So unless you have a very holistic approach towards maintaining your body, mind, and emotions, you will always be falling into a trap of a mental issues out there. Now there would be burnouts as an entrepreneur. Like when I have come in today, I felt like little burnout before that. So I just took a little nap, just a little meditation, maybe do a small bit of a yoga, which can make you bring your senses back to that. And do not think that what time of the day it is, or what time of the what hour it is. Even if it is just before that, there are many times I'm getting into a very important client meeting, and I have just taken a 5 minutes, a simple cleansing process for my emotions, for my doing that meditation. that brings back the senses into the entire aspect which you are working on. So
Mhm.
if you can do some bit of an exercise every day in the morning, and I would really recommend that, get up early in the morning, early, do some exercises, spend some quality time with you, even if it is 10 minutes, 15 minutes, doesn't matter. Make that very well, for yourself, that make sure that you spend that time. If you're not even able to spend that 10, 15 minutes, if you're taking up a call or something, go out, have a walk, take those calls, something on that, which can give you a more, at least, physical energy. And keep your mind straight into that. Whenever you feel very high or low in your emotions, take a deep
Mhm.
breath, have some meditation for 5 minutes, bring your calm, bring yourself towards your center, and that makes a lot of difference for any entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Because it will not be easy. It will not be easy. I mean, if I'll be saying that it's whatever I have achieved today has been happened just like that, no, I have
Mhm.
my own story of ups and downs. Even today I have my story. So this
Mhm.
part is very, very essential, that you keep your, bring your senses back to the center.
So I like the holistic approach. On the really the balance. It's not you have to balance everything. You have to balance the body, the mind, the emotions, because otherwise if there's overdose on one side, then you create an imbalance, and that's not healthy. That's an important fact, and also the fact that we need to have a break, because sometimes, and especially now, things are going so quickly. I mean,
True.
with the digital revolution, people really, pushing themselves, they forget about, pausing and spending quality time with themselves, and really, have this time. And because people don't want to waste time, because a lot of people say time is money. I don't want to waste time. But then, by pushing yourself, you will waste more money, because if you have a breakdown, it becomes very difficult to come back. So really, I hope that the audience is really taking note that entrepreneurship, is burnout are very frequent in entrepreneurship, but it doesn't mean that you can't take action, and there are strategies that you can implement in your life that are going to help you to get started again when you're really low, and when you start to feel the burnout. So we're gonna have a break, and we'll come back and continue this really insightful conversation on entrepreneurship and mental health. So don't go anywhere. We are going to be back and continue this important conversation with Anjif.
Here's 5 ways to think about your mental health as an entrepreneur in 2020 and beyond. So why is mental health so important as an entrepreneur? Well, when we are out there pounding the pavement, building our businesses, especially in an incredibly difficult year, it's hard to take time for yourself and make sure that you're protecting your energy so you can do even better quarter after quarter. So let's get into 5 really wonderful ways to protect your mental health as an entrepreneur. Number 1, remember your why. Why did you start doing this work in the first place? Why did you start this company? And for those of you who work in-house and are entrepreneurs, maybe why are you doing the current role at the company that you're at? Remember your why, remember your purpose. Number 2, seek inspiration from successful pivots. Look at either people, brands, or companies that have been successfully changing their trajectory during 2020 or even 2019, 2018, etc. Look towards brands and people who are really good at affecting change with their brands and see how that can apply to your brand. Number 3, develop new self-care routines. This one has been incredibly hard, I think, for most entrepreneurs and work from home folks, because work and life are no longer separate. So making sure that you are, say, taking an hour off from being on camera, being on Zoom, or even taking a break to walk outside, enjoy some fresh air, get some vitamin D will help with your overall productivity. Number 4, set firm boundaries. So I just talked about how work and life are no longer separate. But when we have healthy boundaries that everyone understands, we have better overall mental health. Number 5, think long term. So I know this is probably the most difficult part to do out of all of the 5 points that I've talked about today. But I don't mean think about your 5-year plan. I mean, think to next month, think to the next 3 months, think to what you're quite literally doing next week. What are the projects that you can prioritize? Who are the people that you can reach out to, etc. Even breaking it down to the next 24-hour cycle can help with some of the mental fatigue. At the end of the day, I hope that these 5 points will help you with your mental health as an entrepreneur.
So we are back with Anchiv, and this video actually confirm, the different point that you brought to us, really, taking those steps to, and especially now working from home, taking those steps to really take care of ourselves and understand why we started all of this, and really focus on that, put those boundaries that we need, take time, take a break from our activity, and really think about ourselves. So, I mean, mental health has been, a key issue in different, in different culture, different countries, different community. But the way people view it, it is very different. In some country, it's still very taboo. And we've seen as well for men as well, in most countries, not accepting the fact that mental health they are mentally challenged, and not really wanting to address that. So how important is it in India and in your community and where you're doing business, and how do you address the problem, and how do you create the awareness so that people around you who are, especially men, like I said, who are who show sign of mental fatigue or burnout, really take things seriously?
So I think I would really want to thank you for asking this question, because I'm in anywhere anywhere across the globe, there is one taboo which is always there associated with men, that men can't cry, or men don't cry. And at times that becomes a very big mental health issue for men, while women can still, women have their own challenges in terms of expressing that they may not want to they do not have anybody to share their emotions. However, men, on the other hand, I actually want to refer, two books out here, one after the another. The one book is Men Are From Mars and Mercury. Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And this book, actually, if you read that book, the one clear aspect which they mention about is that men tend to hide back once they have some issues at their hand, in their mind, and women tend to share that. They want somebody to share it across without any expectation of getting a solution also, but she wants to share it out. Now, if we understand this psychology of between men and women, then you will not have a problem, because it's a tendency of a man to hold that back, and they will open up only with those people who are very close to him, they with who will not judge that person. And I think that's a very, you may call it as a male ego, you may call it as the male personality, but that's how it works. If your family member or anybody tells you that whatever you're thinking is wrong, absolutely wrong, the person will get a major hit, because everybody I mean, especially men I'm talking about, they want to be finding themselves as hero in front of their near and dear ones. And if somebody tells them that you are not able to manage it, it's a big hit on them mentally. Now, it's not that I'm not saying that you cannot share that across with men, that you cannot work, you have to change. But the way it has to be done is, first of all, appreciate that person good efforts, what they are doing good. And I always tell this to my entrepreneur mentees, that never ever use the word but, be it the customers, be it yourself, be it somebody else. See, the reason is, it's something like this. I will say, Anshav, you are a best person in the world, but you have this challenge, which means that I have actually negated my earlier statement. So it is just a waste of, you are actually using that statement just to get that attention of mine, but you actually wanted to criticize me for whatever reason. As soon as that but comes in, the entire effect of the earlier statement is gone. The same thing can be added with the word called and. And you can just say, Anshav, you are the best person. And if you focus on your physical health, you can do much better. The entire perspective gets changed. And I think in our families, this is one of the aspects which everybody has to understand, because entrepreneur will always require the support of their close family members, their spouses, their be it a women or a men. I'm not saying on that regard. Their spouses, their parents, their children has to accept. I have a 10-year-old daughter. I took 2 years to convince her that what entrepreneurship I am doing and why she should be an entrepreneur today. And she's starting up her own venture at the age of 10 years, at the age of just 10 years right now. And she is willing to become a billionaire before she turns 18. So the kind of dreams you can put in, the first people you will inspire will be your own set of people around you. You initially, when you start off, your spouses, your family, your friends may not trust you because they see a very unrealistic vision, and that's what an entrepreneur is focusing upon. And it's going to be challenging. There is no clear path. It's just a vision with some resources with you, and many of the times those resources also are not there, especially in India, when there are limited resources, limited income possibilities. But still, that person has a vision, they have a determination, and it is there continuously moving on. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it, I would like to bring back your earlier point of, you said time is money. And I would want to bring in the concept of, and this is a very important aspect to manage your mental health or business transformation aspect of it as well, is that I would want to call this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. And I've been a follower of him for the last almost 14 years, almost 16 years now. And I have almost read, his almost all the books. I've heard his all the audio, series and all of that. And what one thing I've learned from him is, he says this statement: don't work for money. Make the money work for you. Now, another concept which he brings it out with this particular point is that time which you spend, if you think that if you spend 10 hours in a day and you will earn 100 million, let's say, $1 million basis on that, okay, in a year's time, how can you reduce your time spent and still earn probably $100 million a day? Is what something which Robert Kiyosaki always focuses upon. And that's what an entrepreneur has to think about and develop his or her organization in such a manner that over a period of time, when their revenues grows, when their business gets scaled up, their time, their particular time spending into that has to come down. So it's a complete, different curve which they have to go it in through, versus your time versus results, effort versus benefits point of view. And if that chart, if your efforts are not coming down and your business is not growing up, then you are doing something miserably wrong. Then you are actually still on the left side of the quadrant as per ESBI framework of Robert Kiyosaki, wherein you are trying to become a business owner or an entrepreneur, but you're actually working as a self-employed. 95% of businesses closes down because they are not at all the businesses. They were still working as self-employed professionals. Unless you have a scalable models which you can have a recurring incomes, it is not a business. It is just a service which you are giving in. It is just a self-employment you are giving in. Do not fool yourself. Do not fool yourself by thinking that just because you have started a training company, you have got hundreds of customers. But if you yourself are working, just think it something like this. If one day you will be picked up from that entire ecosystem, will that system continue to run and make money? If the answer is yes, and how much money it is coming in, that is your wealth. And that is the difference of between rich and wealthy, which Robert Kiyosaki explains this beautifully in his book. So I would recommend everybody to read this book if they can.
So that's
these are the two aspects which are very important.
Those are very important aspects, actually, because, you know, those are things that people don't know when they start businesses. I mean, when they become entrepreneur, really understand the process of creating wealth, and the creation of wealth, like you said, should free us, you know, and give us more freedom, because that's what wealth is all about, giving us financial freedom. And if we don't get this financial freedom, then we're not going anywhere. It's actually getting worse. Like you said, we need to put more hours. We need to really, you know, and that's when burnout, you know, we end up being burned out. And that's not really the quality of life that we're all looking for when we become entrepreneur. We're really looking for, yes, the money, but, you know, good money, which is wealth, that is going to liberate us and, you know, take away the stress that we have already, you know, at the level where we are. And I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs understand that, you know, and that's why it's key, like you say, you know, the references that you're giving, and also, you know, pointing out exactly what's the process, and understand that, you know, if we're not going through this process, we're doing something wrong. And we need to go and ask for advice and, you know, coaching or mentoring, whatever it is. So really important point, and powerful, you know, powerful point that you brought right now. And I can tell you there's a lot of entrepreneurs who actually don't know that. So it's I'm quite happy you brought those points here. So we're gonna have another break, and we'll, you know, continue and go to the last part of, you know, the interview and the show. And the things are really going well. I hope that, you know, the audience is as excited as I am, learning from Anchiv, and, you know, him sharing his experience, his knowledge, and giving us some strategies and references to really, you know, start to think about how, you know, we come across as entrepreneur and what we do. Are we going in the right direction? Are we, you know, still in this, you know, spiral where we actually going toward, you know, a burnout? Or are we, you know, creating something that are going to generate money while we know we have more free time? So we'll be back to continue this conversation and really get it, you know, some more insight for Anchiv.
I tried to take some tablets, a whole pack of tablets, and I remember when I was sinking through the bed, it was a moment that made me wake up, because I thought, how did I let it get this bad? I always compare it to fitness. With mental health, you've got to work on it every single day, and that's what I had to do.
Starting a company is just an incredible commitment, and I think that can be really dangerous for mental health. Even if it is going well, it's dangerous to have your sense of self and your identity tied to things in that way. I first started experiencing depression, or what I sort of now identify as depression, probably around the time I was 18, like right when I was graduating high school.
I think a lot of people, particularly entrepreneurs or people in business, there's this feeling of success being an external thing. There's something about the stigma-related illnesses that always seem to conflate the person's identity with the illness. And that, in my mind, is the first step to helping move this conversation forward.
Ask anyone who's built a business, it's hard, it takes a lot of work and it's stressful. I suffer with anxiety, and because I was familiar with those feelings and I know where it can take you if you don't get a hold of it, I took control and I do things that I know make me feel better, which is getting outdoors, getting some sun, or working out, obviously, eating healthier foods, and just spending time on yourself to nourish yourself.
The more we talk about it and say entrepreneurs often have a higher risk for depression, and this is something to watch out for, the more you can sort of be conscious and check in with yourself and talk to other people about it.
So again, we are back with Anshiv, and as you could see in the video, entrepreneurship can be hard, and that's what is important, to talk to the people who have the knowledge, people who are expert like Anshiv, and understand what we do wrong and what we can improve, not do wrong, what we can improve and what we can correct, because that's really the important thing. So I wanted to ask you, Anshiv, what is your message, for any entrepreneur that might be listening right now and suffering from mental health? What would you tell them, and how would you support? What do you recommend to them?
Okay, so Myril, what has happened I've seen in my last 7 years, and while I claim to be having 7 businesses, actually I am running my 22nd or 23rd business by now. Somehow I realized that since the time I turned 18 years old, my father has put me into some or the other opportunity, and which has given me some flavor of an entrepreneurship. But of course, I was not serious before this, 7 years ago. The point what I'm trying to say is that in these last, almost like 22, 23 years, what I've realized is that entrepreneur has to manage multiple things at a time, and we very famously known about it's called wearing entrepreneur has to wear multiple hats. The biggest challenge out there, or the biggest, I call that as business chakravyuh. Okay, the chakravyuh is an Indian word of, it's like a maze which you have, wherein you are into that situation and you don't know where to go and which route to pick it up. And that chakravyuh is very difficult for any entrepreneur to solve it out, and you need some expert into that. In my last 7 businesses who actually didn't survive, and eventually had led me an experience of identifying 4 hats which every entrepreneur has to wear. And there are 7 pillars on which your entire business chakravyuh is being built up, and there are around 105 factors. So 4 areas, 7 pillars, and 105 factors which can make or break your business. And this is what an individual is trying to uncover or unfold the mystery around that. And that causes the mental health issue. In my Design Your Unicorn program, which I have curated, which I've been putting up the framework, it's a proprietary framework which I've been putting it for the last 2 years. I actually take baby steps. I help them from first process from idea validation to a product market fit strategy, then helping them to generate early revenues, then creating their blue ocean strategies, and eventually scaling up their business models to a more global environment. Because the problem happens is that while we want to reach all over the globe, but we have to start locally. We have to start very, very small. And that's where we, because of our inspirations, because of the leaders whom we hear, we hear good part of it. We hear big things. We talk about dream big. It's good to dream big. You need to dream big. But when it comes to ground level, you have to have smaller milestones. That's what I spoke about earlier as well. When you have to walk 1,000 miles, you have to start with a single step. And if you feel that the journey is all about 1,000 steps or 1,000 miles, you will, and you get worried of that, you will never be able to take your first step itself. So it is very essential for somebody to pick up one hat at a time. I have a webinar running. I've actually recorded a webinar on this, and people can check it on bringalacademy.com. And Myril, if you want, I can share that within your network as well. This webinar talks about that 4 entrepreneur hats to wear while having an oatmeal, OAT, one at a time. Meal is MEAL, which aspect of 4 hats which they have to wear, and at what time those hats have to be worn by an entrepreneur, so that they can focus on that step by step. The journey starts from 21 days, then it goes to 21 weeks, it goes to 21 fortnights, then it goes to 21 months, and eventually to 21 quarters. It's a 3 to 5 years process, which basically help them to design their unicorn right from an idea level, and eventually have a sustainable, adaptable, and scalable billion-dollar enterprise. That's how it is very, very important. But it is very important that you don't rush out things. You take it step by step, have a mentor with you, have an ecosystem with you. And it is, in today's world, one important aspect which every entrepreneur has to think about, how they can use technology towards their advantage rather than building up that only the team. So it's very, very important on that, and focusing on your external customer and your internal customer. As a leader, that's going to help on a longer run. So that's what the message I would want to give it to them.
Yeah, so and it's a valuable message right now, because people are getting impatient most of the time. They have those big visions because, like you said, we are asked to dream big, but we really want to get to the vision quickly. We forget that there are steps. To do that, it takes time. It's not an overnight, things, and we have to be patient, resilient, and really, follow a process. Because, and I like, the art that you're talking about, which is, start one art at a time, with still, the vision in your head, but take those steps, those small steps that actually going to bring you to where you want to be, and not be really impatient and try to rush things, which is what, you're going to end up in burnout. And it can be fatal. I mean, we've seen in the video, the lady talking about, having suicidal thought, and then you lose everything. So that's pretty important to know, is that, things are going quickly with the internet and thing, but it doesn't mean that entrepreneurship has to be rushed. There are steps to take, and we have to follow these steps. Otherwise, we don't go anywhere. So thank you so much for this insight. And I mean, I really, I'm really impressed by, the work that you're doing and what you've been able to build, this platform, this multiple dimension platform that is supporting entrepreneurs on different in different angles, which is, in their business, but also themselves, having this balance that they need to be able to be successful entrepreneurs and create an impact. Because sometimes we forget that as entrepreneur, our first, mission is to create an impact and solve problems that are existing. And we shouldn't lose this sight as well, and just focus on the money. So that's really, it's been a great conversation. And one thing I want to ask you, because you've done so much, and so I that's a question I always ask to my guests, is, what is the legacy that you want to leave? What is the legacy that you're working toward, doing all this, important and very, impactful work?
Thank you so much for asking that question. And I would want to, again, I really like the selection of your videos. I must appreciate, Myril, what you have picked up those videos. And one of the video which you have picked up, she said the first reason which every entrepreneur should remember is why. If your why is clear, and that's what Simon Sinek always talk about, that any great company be it Google, be it Amazon, be it Microsoft, be it Apple, all of them has a very different aspect into it with respect to why they're able to sustain even after such a, many others have not been able to do that. I would want to share this number. 97% of the businesses don't die down within 3 years of period of time. This is the real data. Now, in this scenario, how these businesses are reaching out to a level where they're creating and developing the entire ecosystem is because they're focusing on why. Why is more important than how and what. And this why is very strong when it comes to us at Bringle. And when we started off our mission in 2017, we wanted to realign the entire ecosystem. So we got to know one of the McKinsey report, wherein it says that 80% of the people who are tried in the organizations were hired at the wrong place itself. It means that 80% of our 3 billion job workers are actually misfit into the organization. They're not doing what they should be doing. They are not sure. They're not happy what they are doing it. And it's a problem for both an employee and the organization as well, because the results would not come that effectively. And that is why we started building up this platform where we could realign the entire skills development ecosystem, right from identifying the core skill sets, then do a holistic skills development for an individual, and then assist them to become an entrepreneur or an employee as a more holistic manner. So we call that as intrapreneur. So the idea here is that how do you become an fit for either as an employee or as self-employed or a business owner or even as an investor. As an investor also you need that. So the Robert Kiyosaki ESBI framework is what we are focusing upon. And with this ecosystem, when we have developed that platform, the technology, the mentors base, because you will require mentors. And that is the reason we in 2018 we built up the digital platform. 2019 we started building up our mentors, top 100 mentors club community, and 2020 we have taken up this mission now because we had all the content ready, we had the mentors experts available, we have the platform available. We took a mission to transform 1 billion lives, 1 million businesses, and 100 unicorns. Now, of course, it's not a small step. We have also dreamt big. I am a big philosopher. I am a big follower of dreaming big, because I have worked with companies like Reliance Industries, where Dhirubhai Ambani used to be my idol, who has started such a world's largest grassroots refinery, even being a 10th fail. And he was working in a company in Gulf and was a petrol pump attendant. From there, he has taken the company to this level. And today, his son, Mukesh Ambani, is among the top 5 or top 10 richest person across the globe. So the point, what I'm trying to say is that you will always have to dream big. He had dreamed big. A lot of others have dreamt big. Be it Bill Gates, be it Richard Branson of Virgin Airlines. You talk about the Amazon. You talk about Jack Ma. All those people who are kind of have dreamt big have achieved that, but they have taken baby steps. So the point what I'm trying to say is that while you dream big, you have to have the small steps. And that is why last year we were very, very focused. We had taken we call that a community called Transformationist Community, wherein I have personally found selected, handpicked 30 batch of transformers who are going to work with me in 2021 to transform 10 million lives. So we have reached to 1 million lives. Now we are looking at 10 million lives in 2021. And we have got 3 startups being started, which we are designing them into a unicorn level and making them taking them to $1 billion enterprise. And this year, 2021, we have taken a target to bring in 111 transformers and eventually around 12 unicorns in making. We will be working with them. So if you see this, we are looking at eventually at 100,000 transformers, but it will not happen immediately. It will take some time. So I have to have the small baby steps for us, even though if we dream big. And that is what I would recommend every entrepreneur, that be realistic, see what it is there, and have faith in your dream, have faith in your vision. Believe me, when I started off in 2016, I didn't know how the pieces will come together. But today, when I look back, I found those dots being joining together. I did not know that I will suddenly in 2020 I will take this large vision. For me, it was just a realignment at 2016. Every year, every 6 months, your strategy changes, your model changes, your revenue stream changes, but your vision will never change. Vision will actually grow bigger and bigger. But start with small steps rather than getting worried and hassled because you have a larger vision in place or a big dream in place to achieve.
Fantastic. That's just so powerful. And I hope, whoever is going to watch this video is going to be inspired, because, I'm really inspired by all of this, and all the insight. I've learned so much today. And so make sure, you really listen to that, and get in contact with, Anshit, because he has the experience, he has the platform. So get ready to to talk to him and to see how it can help you, especially if you're struggling and you're at the verge of being completely burned out. So how do people connect with you, Anshit, to get to continue this conversation, and hopefully to get help from you, and get to use your product and your services?
Okay, so see, we have two set of communities which we are developing, and two set of web pages which people can refer to. So the one is for the trainers, coaches, consultants, and mentors who are looking to start up their digital, practice or digital platforms in the education industry, and they can go to top100mentorsclub.com, and they should be looking at. So there are one set of people who are still not very clear about their value proposition. They're not clear how to market their training program. How do they scale it up using a various technology platform, because technology has just come in suddenly in front of these trainers and coaches, and they're really feeling worried about it, that what kind of, how do I use it, how do I work into it, how do I manage. And that is where we have made that very, very simple for them. We have a complete team who supports them in clearing up their value proposition, working with them to clear a right marketing strategy, bring it into a how to close the sale better, support them with on that aspect, and eventually support them with automating the entire process from marketing to sales to delivery to as high as 90%. So, and reduce their administrative efforts to as high as 80%, more than 80% into that, and reduce their cost to from anywhere from 20 to 50%. So the kind of scalability you can get in, even with being a trainer, individual trainer, with only one or two staff, one or two employees working with you, or maybe some freelancers, you can achieve a scale of even a 6-digit or a 7-digit recurring income model or a passive income model for yourself. So that's where they can go to top100mentorsclub.com. And if some mentors or somebody have already have got some programs and they want to scale that up, and they're looking for a learning management system, content curation platforms, live classrooms, integrated platforms, then they should go to bringleglobal.com, and they will get all the aspects around there. They will get to see what kind of blended learning concepts they can implement into their learning training programs. And the third aspect is for the entrepreneurs or business owners who would want to kind of looking at sustainability, adaptability, and scaling up their business models to a recurring income model, right from getting a complete holistic transformation report, holistic diagnostic report, to learning their own expertise, or making themselves as a virtual CEO, wherein not only just the mindset support will be provided, wherein they will be supported in terms of whether they're ready to become an entrepreneur, whether they're ready to take up that challenge, and we will make them ready accordingly. Then we will work with them to improve their skill sets on various aspects of business modeling, customer delight, your process and digital transformation, value generation, finance, legal, investments, all those aspects which they need, we will develop and work with them. And eventually the third aspect by which they will transform their businesses from an idea to a unicorn or a billion-dollar enterprise. So that website is designyourunicorn.com, which they can go through it. And if there is somebody who is a student entrepreneur and they are looking at, they are into the college segment and they're into 18 to 25 years of age, and they're into colleges and they want to start their own business or venture, or they're at different stages, they can check studentpreneurchallenge.com. And if somebody is working on person with disabilities segment, Sharmila Diwatia, who is co-founder and CEO of Bringle, she's also running this initiative called Disability is Not Inability, and that can be checked at vardhan4u.com, where we are developing a complete accessible ecosystem and working with educational institutions and business ecosystem to make them accessible, and working with these people who are disabled people to get them fit into the system as possible, as normally as possible, rather than making them feel as out of the blue or out of the world. They are also part of our world. Accept them as a human being first, and that is where she's working upon. So that's where, if you need some support, you can reach out to, you can check vardhan4u.com.
Okay, so thank you so much. So so you have all the web pages just on on the screen, and Anchit just explained what you can expect from all those web. So you find find your niche, find your where is your need, and then please consult all the information and reach out to Anchit and his team. So thank you so much for your time, for this really good insight, and also for this conversation on mental health and and entrepreneurship and mental health, and really giving us some tools and tips and strategies how to really be on top of our mental health as an entrepreneur, and react if we have the we fail and we feel like it's too heavy for us. Really give us some process to go through, and some and some references as well. So it's been a great show. Thank you, and it's really amazing. So anything that you have coming up that you feel like we should know before we leave the platform?
Okay, yeah. So Myril, I mean, when we are actually coming up with a program called Virtual CEO. It's a program where we focus on 3 aspects of it. The first aspect of it, it's going to be an entire mindset transformation. So right from identification that whether you are ready for for taking up that entrepreneurship as a journey. You might already be running some business, but mentally you should be ready on that. So we will focus on making your mindset goes on that. There are some different type of therapies which we have enabled out there from the Global Accelerator startups or the mentors from who are supporting Global Accelerator programs. And these mentors would work with you, who will basically focus on your mindset aspect of it. They will nurture you, do some therapies, work with you, and bring your mental balance and make you ready to take up this huge leap into the entrepreneurship journey or into your business enterprise. The second aspect which we are going to focus upon is to cover up all different 4 hats, what they need to wear at what time, and supporting them with templates, supporting them with some self-paced programs, some group coaching, one-on-one coaching, and all those aspects, and will be actually working along with you on your business model, so that you can grow along with that into your business model. It's going to be a 21 weeks program. It's going to be a very extensive program which we will be focusing on that. And the third aspect which we will be focusing on the digital part of it, that how you can use processes, how you can use systems and how you can create a $1 billion enterprise model for your startup, for your business, even though if it is just an idea at this point in time. And this going to be very, very important aspect of process and digital transformation, because that's the only thing which is going to make sure that your business survive in the long run. You have a scalable models, you have a recurring income models. So all those aspects will be working into that and helping them to grow their business. So the program is you become a virtual CEO to design your own unicorn. So that's the whole concept of program. If somebody wants to reach out on that, they can check those details at www.designyourunicorn.com. So the website which you showed in earlier, will be updating the details of this program over there itself. Or they can reach out to me on LinkedIn at Anshav Jain, Holistic Transformationist ID.
Thank you very much. So we have arrived at the end of the show, and there's a lot, still to be learned from Anshav and his team. So make sure you connect with him, especially if you have the clarity of where you want to be, and really continue the journey, continue the conversation. Go and scale yourself, and don't stop at this stage. I mean, you've heard so many things today. Share with, in your network, so that other people know about all this work, and reach out as well to Anshav if they are in need, because I know there are a lot of entrepreneurs all over the world who need this service, and really, it's coming to you, it's there. So make sure you take this, this first step, because there's gonna be, like we mentioned today. I mean, it's a small one step at a time. So take this, first step, and then, be really confident that you will, especially if you have big dreams, you will reach your dreams. So thank you very much again. And so I see you for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, where I bring you, excellent knowledge, and help you to, to give you the tools and the strategy for you to go to the next level of your greatness and attain, your goals and your dreams. So thank you, and may you be all blessed, and stay safe. Thank you very much, and see you for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. Thanks, and bye-bye.
Great, Meryl. Thank you so much.